The amount of times and the amount of screen grabs I have of Stefan and Damon bonding over a bourbon and sitting like, there's this great shot of us like on the steps or whatever, and we're just like cheersing, and it's so cool to be able to like recreate that in a sense. This is our reunion. The company we created together, our brothers bond. That's our reunion. For me anyway. We both love bourbon. And
10 years, it's like 10, literally like a decade in the making.
Yeah. And so when the show ended, we had a little bit more time on our hands. And specifically this last year has been a real kind of transformative year in the sense that we've really worked every single day. And so, this is something that we wanted to do forever. And it was really about putting the right team together, finding the right mash, coming up with a name, coming up with the label, finding the bottle, the shape, everything. This is our creation. It's a real passion, and we needed to commit the right time. We didn't have the time then, and I think now it's a little bit. This was just the right time to do it. I always say that Ian and I think the reason the show was successful, and I think the reason why we were able to create this company so I think efficiently, is because we are polar opposites in a sense. I'm an eternal pessimist. I always think everything's doomed. I think it's the end of the world. Ian's like, everything's amazing, eternal optimist. And I do think that the two support one another in a sense. There is a kind of an alchemy there. And I can find myself getting into like my pessimism, and he lifts me up, and then I can sort of bring him back to reality. And so it's a nice blend. And I think for me, that's my thing that I've sort of learned is like, sometimes it's good to be in a relationship, whether it's a romantic or if it's business, with someone who maybe you guys can present different things to one another in different perspectives. It's
so funny. We're living the Damon Stefan reality, but now in business together with something that we're so passionate about.
I remember when I auditioned for the Vampire Diaries, I always pretty like take things seriously if I like them, but I remember being like, I don't know, this one feels different. Something's different about this one. But again, eternal pessimist. I was like, it's probably just my, And I remember me and Ian being on the plane on the way to Vancouver, and me being like, man, do you think to go shoot the pilot? I was like, do you think it's going to be successful? You think we'll get picked up? He was like, oh yes, oh yeah. And I remember being like, this guy's.
I'm like, are you out of your mind, dude?
I was like, this guy's full of it. This guy's full of it. And then, sure enough, he was right for once.
Yeah. We hit it at the exact moment in time where Twilight had just struck big, and television was turning into its golden age. Remember, that was just the beginning of Hulu and Amazon and Netflix, and it all just started. And also, too, what was happening?
Social media.
It was pretty wild. I mean, now I say this as a married guy with kids, a child. The response was unbelievable. I remember being in London before we'd even launched. I remember my dad was with us and your mom was with us. We were in that van. We were trying to leave the hotel, and there was like 1,000 people on either side of this little hotel where we used to stay all the time. And we had to go through secret entrances, and we had multiple cars, 2 dummy cars. One we were in, one we weren't, one for full security. And the guy at the time, who was the head of Warner Brothers International, just said, the only time I've seen this like this was the launch of Beverly Hills 90210, believe it or not, which back then was huge. And we got out of the car and people were going insane. And I went, oh, what? I thought it was for someone else. It was like, is someone behind us? And we realized, okay, this is sticking. These are not lost fans. These are vampire fans who are here, and they want to say that they love us, and that's pretty amazing. And that's when Paul and I looked at each other and we went, whoa, dude.
We say this in humility, by the way.
No, literally in humility.
In reflection.
Yeah, in like a reflective, introspective way, which was the layering of the danger and the wisdom and the sexiness of vampires and the ostracized outsider, that allure all layered up into this perfect sort of cake that the market really just wanted at the time.